Iran's hidden secrets revealed. Iran is not just a country. It is a story, an ancient, powerful story that began more than 6,000 years ago. Long before many modern nations were even born, Iran was building cities, creating art, developing medicine, and writing poetry. Iran's history dates back to around 400 BC. It was once called Persia, and its people developed one of the world's greatest civilizations. The land of Iran was blessed with natural protection. High mountains, endless deserts, and rugged terrain made it very difficult for enemies to invade and control. This geography helped Iran survive, grow, and protect its culture through thousands of years of wars, empires, and changes. One of the greatest figures in Iranian history was Cyrus the Great. He founded the Persian Empire in the 6th century BC and ruled with wisdom and fairness. Unlike many kings of his time, Cyrus respected the rights of the people he conquered. He allowed them to practice their religion and live in peace. His ideas were far ahead of his time. The Cyrus cylinder, found in ancient Babylon, is considered by many historians as the first declaration of human rights. Under Cyrus and his successors, the Persian Empire became the largest the world had ever seen. It stretched from present-day Turkey in the west to India in the east. But it wasn't just big, it was brilliant. Persia gave the world architecture, philosophy, mathematics, medicine, literature, and spiritual wisdom. Cities like Persepolis became centers of learning, science, and trade. Persian culture influenced the Greeks, the Romans, and the entire Islamic world that came later. Then, in the 7th century AD, Islam arrived in Persia. After a long battle, the Islamic forces defeated the Sassanid Empire. Persia officially became a Muslim land. But the people of Iran did not lose themselves. They adopted Islam, but they kept their language, poetry, customs, and identity. Iran became Islamic but in its own way. It was always different from Arab lands. Even today, Iranians speak Persian, not Arabic, and follow their own path in religion, philosophy, and politics. For many centuries, Iran remained a peaceful, educated, and secular society. People of different religions lived side by side. Islam in Iran was spiritual, poetic, and calm. Women had respect. Scholars were honored. Artists were celebrated. Even when empires changed, the deep soul of Iran stayed alive. But in the 20th century, things began to change. In 1925, a military officer named Reza Khan took control of Iran. He later became Reza Shah Pahlavi and started a project to modernize Iran. At first, many people supported his ideas. Roads, schools, and industries were built. But soon, this modernization started looking more like westernization. When his son, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, took over after World War II, things got worse. Western values were forced onto Iranian society. Traditional clothing was banned. Religious leaders were pushed aside. Alcohol became normal in homes. Gambling became a habit. Moneylending with high interest grew rapidly, hurting the poor. Women wore bikinis on beaches. TV shows copied Hollywood. The elite lived in luxury, while rural areas remained poor. Iran was rich in oil, but the benefits went to America, Britain, and a few rich families. The common people got nothing. The government acted more like a puppet of the West than a servant of its own people. Iran was losing its soul. People became angry. Not just because of poverty, but because they were losing their identity, their pride, and their culture. That anger led to the Islamic Revolution of 1979. Led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, millions of Iranians rose up against the Shah's rule. They protested in the streets. They risked their lives. They wanted their country back. They wanted dignity, justice, and independence. And they succeeded. The Shah fled. The monarchy was overthrown. A new Islamic Republic was born. The West was shocked. They had lost control over a major oil-rich nation. And they were angry. Soon after, the United States and its allies began punishing Iran. They placed heavy economic sanctions. These sanctions blocked Iran from trading freely, buying medicine, selling oil, and using global banks. Iran was cut off from the world economy. No country in the Middle East suffered under sanctions the way Iran did. But Iran did not fall. Instead, it began to adapt. The people became more self-reliant. They built their own factories, cars, weapons, and even missiles. Iranian scientists developed their own vaccines and satellites. Iran grew stronger not because of help but because of hardship. At the same time, Iran remained under constant military threat. The US and Israel often spoke about bombing Iran. Iranian scientists were assassinated. Its nuclear facilities were attacked with computer viruses. Still, Iran never surrendered. To defend itself, Iran built a powerful military. It trained allies across the region like Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen. It formed a network of resistance to fight foreign control. Iran called this network the axis of resistance. Why? Because Iran remembers its past. It refuses to be colonized again. It refuses to let foreign powers control its oil, its people, or its future. Even as the economy suffered, Iran made incredible progress in education. Today, it has a literacy rate of 98%, one of the highest in the region. Iranian universities produce engineers, doctors, and scientists. Iranian students compete in math and science competitions around the world, and they win. Iran's people are known for their wisdom, patience, and simplicity. Despite decades of pressure, they remain strong in their culture. Their music, poetry, films, and language continue to inspire. They never let go of their identity. Even today, if you walk through the streets of Isfahan or Shiraz, you will see the beauty of Persian architecture, hear the verses of Hafez and Rumi, and feel the warmth of a people who never gave up. Iran's nuclear program became another reason for conflict. But what many people forget is this: it was the United States and Europe that first gave Iran nuclear technology. During the rule of the Shah, Western powers themselves helped build Iran's first nuclear facilities. They promised Iran peaceful nuclear energy, electricity, medicine, research. But after the Islamic Revolution, the same countries suddenly changed their tune. They began saying Iran should not have nuclear power. They claimed Iran might make weapons. They said, "You cannot get electricity from nuclear plants." Then came the threats and then the attacks. Every few years, Iranian scientists were assassinated. Nuclear labs were bombed. Facilities were hit with cyber attacks. What they once supported, they now tried to destroy. Yet still, Iran did not stop. It kept moving forward, insisting it wanted nuclear energy, not bombs. It wanted to keep the promise of development that the West had once made and then broken. Inside the country, life is not easy. Inflation makes daily life expensive. Young people want better jobs and more freedom. Internet is slow and often censored. Some people protest. But when it comes to foreign threats, Iranians stay united. They know what happens to countries that allow outsiders to take over. Just look at Iraq, Syria, Libya, destroyed by Western wars. Iran refused to follow the same path. In the 21st century, the world is changing. New powers are rising like China, Russia, and the BRICS nations. Iran is building relationships with these countries. It trades in other currencies, bypassing the US dollar. It is joining new global groups and shaping new alliances. The West is no longer the only center of power. Iran's journey is a lesson for the whole world. It shows that real strength is not in weapons or money but in culture, wisdom, and willpower. Iran did not survive because it was rich. It survived because it was proud, educated, and united. This is not just history, it's a warning to the arrogant and a hope for the oppressed. Iran, after 4,000 years of invasions, revolutions, and sanctions, still stands tall. Its people pray in ancient mosques and study in modern universities. They build missiles but also write poetry. They chant against imperialism but welcome guests with tea and smiles. This is Iran. A land where history breathes and dignity lives. A land that was once home to Cyrus the Great, and today is home to millions of people who carry his spirit, a spirit of justice, independence, and humanity. And perhaps, one day, when history is written again, Iran's greatest achievement will not be its ancient glory, but its modern courage to defend its culture, its freedom, and its future.